All right, so welcome to our class, this program this evening. And thank you all so much for joining and being part of this. As there are some of us viewing this now and some will be viewing later, the class will be catered to in that sort of way. So you might hear me speaking to people who aren't necessarily with us at the moment, but will be at a later time. So finding a nice comfortable seat is a great way to start for this class. So because we're in our homes, we may have access to a wall behind us. We may have access to extra cushions to prop underneath the sits bones to help you sit up a little taller. If your knees look like mine on the screen, this is a very challenging way to sit upright. So what I'd advise is lift the hips up so that the knees can come down. So you're just sitting on a pillow or edge of a blanket. And this can make the seated posture a much more enjoyable experience. If knees get sore, you just hold your legs out and use your hands behind you. Good. We'll only be here for a few moments in our opening sequence today. So let's close down the eyes together and just take a moment here to really anchor the sits bones, those two bones at the base of your hips. And you might even reach back and pull the muscle out of the way, a little rocking side to side. And we'll place one hand on our heart and one hand on the belly. Allow a few moments to begin directing the breath in and out through the nose if this isn't already an everyday practice for you. There are so many benefits through breathing through the nose versus the mouth. The first and most important is that it's much more soothing on the nervous system. Mouth breathing is very abrasive and can often trigger a fight or flight response. Whereas breathing through the nose is calming, it's associated with the rest or digest state in the body. When you're practicing an inhale and exhale through the nose, focus on the very top of the nose, so the bridge up here. And when you breathe, feel that the air is rising up towards the brain, sort of like ascending up to the very peak of a mountain. When it touches this point, then the exhale can come flowing back out of the body. As you practice this evening, let all the muscles in your body be at ease. The ideal way to practice any of the yoga postures is to be joyful and to really enjoy your body in the experience that you're having. Good. So just keep breathing in this fashion, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Feeling the rise and the fall of the chest, maybe as the primary experience in this breathing practice. Now you might venture to relax the belly, and as you inhale, let the bottom hand fill out as the belly expands. So you're sort of softening the muscle wall in the belly, then drawing the breath into the chest, and then letting all of the breath come out. Inhaling, soften the belly outward. If the belly feels tight, you can push the belly out and rounding it a little bit further to encourage deeper breath. Think of the Buddha and his big round belly. And this is our goal in this type of breathing practice, is to push out that bottom hand and then lift up into the chest. And you'll feel the great capacity we have for breath. The teacher was saying the other day that we typically are only breathing in 10% of our lungs capacity. Imagine that you have 90% of your lungs capacity still available. And the key to unlocking that capacity is by relaxing the belly out. Thus, the diaphragm extends downward. It relaxes and pushes the internal organs out of the way so that the lungs can begin to expand. If you don't need the hands, you just release the hands. So we're setting ourselves in the ideal posture for the rest of our practice, which is an inner posture, an inner attitude that allows us, as we practice the outward forms, to really reap the maximum benefit. And the last of these inner alignments is to draw the attention up to the point between the two eyebrows. So it can be helpful if this is a new practice to just gently tap on this point, or you can rub little circles, whatever helps to stimulate some attention into this point. The inner experience is one of feeling that you're looking a little bit higher than usual. Most often, we have created a habit of looking down. Some of us, very few, look to the horizon, straight forward, and even fewer look to the point between the two eyebrows. When you're done with the tapping, just take a moment here to rest, hands facing up on the lap, and breathe, relaxing the body. Few of us know that there are three primary states of awareness that we have access to. The first, when we look down, is into the subconscious, and this is the sleep state. It's the automatic programs that repeat over and over and over through our lives. When we look straight in front of us to the horizon, this is the conscious mind. For most of us, this is a giant leap, rising from the subconscious to meet the world in wakefulness. This is the conscious mind. The next leap is looking upward, as though you're gazing to a distant treetop or mountaintop. And this is super consciousness, higher awareness. And this is a faculty that connects us to the rest of the world. It connects us with our intuition, that is our innate knowing. And most importantly, it connects us with the divine. That is the pure consciousness that pours into our body before it is shaped and transformed by your personality, by your likes and your dislikes. Energy and awareness at the point between the two eyebrows reestablishes that seat. Awesome. So this is our ideal inner posture to practice. Body relaxed, heart is joyful, and the inner awareness is centered high in the body. And you'll find that these postures and the affirmations that go with them become transformational, not just in stretching the muscles, but more importantly, in shifting the way that you perceive yourself in this world. You could slowly open the eyes, and we'll just take a moment here to rub the palms together, get a little bit of energy going between the palms. Good. And enough that heat starts to generate, so enough pressure that you're activating some life between the palms. We'll place them over the eyes, take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then part the hands and slide them down the face and release the breath out. We'll do one more round, so rubbing to get a little bit of heat going here. We're applying this heat to the eyes, to the sinus, for good health and vitality. Let's place the palms over when yours are ready. Deep breath in. Nice, complete exhale. Just spread the hands, parting them and slide them down the face. Good. You can keep the eyes open. We're going to gently descend down onto our backs. So I like to hold onto the thighs and you just roll yourself down to the ground. So we begin with knees tucked in towards the chest, just a little bit of rocking side to side. And you feel the kidneys, these beautiful organs in the body, getting a little massage. Also a good time to stretch your face, so just wrinkle the nose, scrunch the forehead, roll the lips. You can even inhale and open the mouth and stick out the tongue. Just get a little rocking here and start to loosen your rocking so the knees can go around in a circle. Holding onto either shin or knee, circling around the knees. Good. And then reverse the rotation. If you find in your life to be very reactive, especially in stressful situations, you would do well to keep the kidneys healthy and relaxed. The adrenal glands sit just on top of the kidneys and control, or at least activate, the fight or flight response. All right, let's go ahead and we're going to take fists gently soft underneath the glutes and just send your feet up to the sky and do a little circling with the ankles and the feet, the toes. Knees can be bent, they don't need to be straight. Reverse the direction. Good, nice deep breath. So we're going to inhale and point the toes, and then exhale, you can soften and bend the knees and open up into happy baby pose. We're not here to stay. And then you're going to inhale and come back up. Good, and then exhale and bend the knees and separate, feet halfway to the sky, open as wide as you're ready. Take a few rounds like this. You can even rub backs of the knees if they feel particularly stiff, and then on your exhale, you're opening to separate. Good. And then take soft fist back underneath the glutes here. We're going to point the toes, and I want you to push your belly down into the ground. So fill out the low spine here. When you're ready to inhale, squeezing the belly and lower the legs just slightly, and then bend the knees, drop the feet, and come around like you're pedaling a gigantic one-pedal bicycle, and then go ahead and draw them back. If you don't need to bend the knees, and you don't have to, and you can just do little lifts and lowers. Good, nice deep breathing here, waking the belly muscles. If you notice that you're clenching your teeth together, or it looks like you just bit into a slice of a lemon, relax the face and practice with joy. Let's come into knees towards the chest and a little rocking side to side here, just to soften one direction then the other. Good. And let's take a deep breath, and we're going to inhale and lift the forehead towards the knees. So you're in a tiny, tight little ball here. Breathe fullness of breath. And then exhale, release the head, release the hands, and settle feet onto the ground. All right, let's try again. Inhale, knees back to the chest, lift the head, squeeze the body into a little ball. And then exhale and release down. So one more time, waking up the throat center in the body. And then exhaling and dropping back and down. When the head connects, inhale and lift the hips into your bridge pose. You're more than welcome here to lift on inhale and lower on exhale. But if you can stay in the pose, interlace fingers underneath the body and maybe even roll the shoulders under the chest. And just pause here, hugging inner thighs close together, squeezing glutes and thighs. Repeating inwardly, my every thought is a connection to divine grace. One more time, my every thought is a connection to divine grace. Gently lowering the hips down and back onto the ground. Let's draw knees, this time one into each of the hands, and just stir the legs around in the hip joint like two wooden spoons mixing in the bowl, circling around away from each other. And relax the shoulders, relax the throat and heart. If your hips are very flexible, stay on the outside and just lift and lower knees, sort of rocking on that outermost realm. If they're sensitive, take smaller circles. Good. Let's seal feet down when you're ready onto the earth, nice and firm. We're going to float the arms up overhead and inhale, squeeze the belly, squeeze the thighs, and lift into your bridge pose, resting on the upper back. Good, and then exhale, you can just sweep your arms down like you're making a great big snow angel. And then inhale, send them up over the heart. So we'll do a little activating here. Feet nice and close together. When you're ready to inhale, open the arms and the knees together towards the floor. So deep, deep breath, extending. And then exhale, you can close the body down. And then inhaling, opening nice and wide, and then exhaling. Feeling the body as it moves, present in the experience as it unfolds. This time, float arms overhead, hips lift, nice deep breath in. Good. Exhale, hips come down, arms come back up. And then inhale to open. So we'll just move through this little sequence here. Inhaling to lift the hips and reach the arms up overhead. Lift, lift, lift as high as the body will go. And then exhale, coming back down to the earth, hands over heart in steeple formation. And then inhale to open nice and wide. Good. Let's get one more round here. Arms floating up overhead. Lifting the hips, squeezing the glute muscles and thighs. And then exhaling, softening down, hands over heart. Inhaling, opening wide, knees opening. And then exhaling, hands coming back over heart center. You can just lower the hands down now. Let's take knees waving side to side and just flush the low spine. You can reach arms into a capital letter T if that's helpful. Look in the opposite direction of the knees, getting a little awakening, backside of the neck and base of the skull. Good. Nice deep breath in through the nose. You might even opt to blow bubbles with the lips here, or do a little horse breath. Sort of letting go of any built up pressure in the body. And when you've had your experience and you're ready to, soften knees back to the sky. We're going to take our hands, soft fists underneath the glutes. Let's take one knee at a time. Last of our on the back exploration in this way. Let's send feet up to the sky and just wake up the feet once more. Curling toes, activating into the ankles, into the shins and calves. So some of us are going to inhale and we're going to press our hands into the ground and roll our feet back, and then make your little soft fist and slowly lower. So that's it. Just exhaling, releasing back. Inhaling, soft fist to balance on hips and feet lower on inhale. So just experiment here. Some of us can go a little further than others, and that's just fine. And you're really waking up the vitality in the spine here. Go as far back as your body is ready to go. When you exhale back, push into the hands. Push off the ground to get greater leverage, rolling back. If you need to keep knees bent, just bend the knees and roll back and forth. Nice deep breathing here. As is natural, coming back into our neutral position, we'll just stir the feet around in a little circle. So stirring the feet, waking up belly muscles, reversing the direction when it's natural. All right, beautiful job. Just bending knees, slowly release down. So we're gonna move the hands out of the way. We're gonna come into fish pose. So extend your feet nice and long. Walk us through this. And go ahead and just pull the hands up a little further so that your elbows start to bend. Okay, and you're going to push down into your heels, toes facing up. Good. And you may need to fix your arms here, but go ahead and push onto the back of the head and lift the heart, and then transfer weight into the elbows. So some of us may be able to get a little higher than others. It's a very activating pose, wonderful for opening the heart. And then come down as soon as you need to. So remember that leverage point on the base of the skull is a great way for you to start lifting and arching the spine, then push into the elbows. So arms nice and close to the body, lifting, and then releasing down. Now, if you don't have discomfort in the neck and you want to lift up a little bit higher onto maybe the back or top of the head, just be gentle. Remember, weight is on the elbows, it's not on the head once you arrive in the pose. Then lowering down and softening. Good. Let's try one more round if you'd like. Inhaling to lift. And breathing, letting the heart expand in the posture. Let's find the affirmation for the pose while we're here. Stay here if you can. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. My soul floats on waves of cosmic light. Lower down, take knees in towards the chest for a counter pose and just roll side to side. If you'd like to work more into the region of the belly and the abdominals, take the arms broad and find knees over hips, and then rock side to side, using the belly muscles to keep you stable. Furthermore, if you'd like to draw little circles with the knees, keep the knees close together, but roll circles around is a great way to really soften into the belly. Make sure to reverse as you're ready. Good, nice deep breath. All right, and we're going to take a fun route to get up. So you just hold onto the backs of your thighs. Remember when you were a kid and you kicked on the swing? Just roll up on the spine. Be gentle here. Take several rounds. Smile as you practice. Let it be playful. You might say, wee, as you roll up, and then wee on the way down. If you feel like you're too serious to wee on the way up or way down, then it's especially important for you to do so. Wee! Let go of that serious air. And when you're ready to rise up, we're going to settle feet down and take hands behind us. Take a little rocking of knees side to side, rocking one direction, the other. Nice deep breathing. All right, so leaving fingers pointed outward, step feet down to the ground, knees bent. Some of us will come into a reverse tabletop pose and we'll hold the pose here and breathe. If you want something more challenging, extend your feet, fingertips to the heels, and then inhale and point the toes and lift as you look over your belly region. Good, nice deep breath. Lower down if you need to, but then come right back into the pose with us. The affirmation: with a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Say the affirmation either out loud or inwardly. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Beautiful job. Slowly you can lower down. We're going to roll our knees over and off to the side. Doesn't matter which side you start. We're going to turn our fingers to point behind us. Take both hands down to the ground and extend just the top leg out. When you're ready, push your way up. We're coming into side plank. Balancing the knee underneath the body. Toes are pointing in the direction of the gaze. You send opposite arm up into the sky. If you want a little challenge here, inch forward with your bottom arm and you can leap up, lifting the back leg and breathing as you extend in every direction. Let the breath be smooth and consistent. Smile as you practice enjoying with a spirit of bliss, a nature of joy in your practice. If you fall over, laugh at yourself and join back with us. Let's settle that foot down to the ground. We're going to turn our hands down and slowly just lay the body back onto the ground. You can go ahead and rotate around to the other side. So we'll all meet onto the other side, knees down onto the ground. Top leg extends. Look down towards the bottom hand and other hand supportive. You just roll that knee underneath. Your toes are pointing in the direction of your gaze for your back leg, and then send the top arm to the sky. Big expansive quality in the body. Breathing, nice deep breath. The affirmation for side plank. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all distraction. Let's say that again. Breathing in the pose, the calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all distraction. If you wanted to try a little balance, try it on the last affirmation here, holding steady. Fun little tip, flex the toes on the extended leg will help to really engage the energy up that leg. The calm fire of my concentration burns all restlessness, all desires. All right, very gently lowering every part of the body down to the ground. We'll just go ahead and sit, releasing the knee out of the way. Coming back onto your glutes. You can take feet and knees close together, holding onto the thighs. Let's seal the elbows and lift the heart. We're rolling into our boat pose, so lift the toes to start and begin to recline. If you feel like you can lift the feet maybe just an inch off the ground, try to do so. Keep knees close together. If you can lift feet higher without compromising by collapsing in the low spine, then feel free to do so. Just keep the chest lifted. Some of us will go all the way to the point of freeing the palms up to the sky. Breathing and looking. Remember, subconsciousness is down. Conscious mind, wakeful awareness is straightforward, but super consciousness is looking upward. This is what connects us to all of creation. Come down when you're ready to, releasing the feet and hands, and roll the knees side to side to release in the hips. Nice, deep breathing. Good. So you're rolling on the hips like a bowling ball, pressing out those little muscles in the glutes, extending from tailbone out to the outer sides of the hips. All right. Let's take legs extended nice and long, and you can reach back and pull the muscle from out underneath the glutes here. Let's take a deep breath and reach arms up into the sky. And then exhale, we'll lean forward and just rub the legs a little bit here. And you can say the affirmation, rejoice, my body cells, rejoice. Practicing in a spirit of joy. If any little gremlin voice inside you tries to squash that joy, just smile. Keep rubbing the legs. All right. We're coming to lift with a burst of energy. So fingers can be pointing towards the heels. If you need to cut the shape in half for better support, feel free. So with a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. Holding here nice and steady, feeling that energy coming from the spine, looking over the navel or towards the sky. With a burst of energy, I rise to greet the world. And then slowly lowering down. Good. So this next posture is rather interesting. It may not be accessible to all body types, but we're going to try it anyway because it's really fun. Okay, so first step here is just to pull one of your feet towards the body. Doesn't matter which side you start with. Okay, and we're going to reach the other hand down the leg. Easiest version is just let the knee flop open and you pause here, seated nice and tall. This is called Janu Shirasana. If you'd like to try this pose, go ahead and hold onto your foot and maybe lift it up to the lap. So already this could be very challenging for many body types. If you'd like to go a little bit further, reach the foot out, still holding, and reach forward with the other arm. So this is called pulling the bow pose. I'll show you from the side to give you a little image here that you're holding your foot up in the air. Some of us may be smiling or laughing and saying, yeah, right, there's no way my body opens up like that. Others of us are very interested, intrigued by the pose. And then you just go ahead and release that side down. So let's go ahead and try the other side, sliding other foot up and in. Good. Remember, sliding the same arm as the extended leg, then let the outer knee drop open to the side. If you can hold onto the foot, awesome. And then you slowly start to raise that foot from the ground like you're pulling the string of a bow backwards. If anyone can kick really high, you can go quite high with this pose. An alternate version is you can cross underneath the leg and you look like a little pretzel, but just breathing here. This pose strengthens the willpower. So breathe as you are, even if you're down on the ground and you're just laying here into your Janu Shirasana pose. Nice deep breath, strengthening the willpower. Good. And then lower down and we'll slowly extend that foot out nice and long. Beautiful job, everyone. Pull the muscle of the glutes out of the way if it isn't already. We'll inhale and send arms up to the sky. Good. And then exhale and just bow forward so you can reach the hands wherever they land and let the head and neck come down. Breathing, nice deep breath. If anything feels like it's zinging or it's really clenching on in this pose, this is a very challenging and surprisingly advanced pose, Paschimottanasana. Just make little funny faces like you're trying to entertain a baby or roll the lips. Do anything that it takes just to soften that degree of reaction or wincing against the pose. Wiggling toes is a great way to do so. All right, when you've had your fill of the pose, slowly we're going to rise. And let's dive in actually just one more time so that we can have the affirmation. So slowly rolling forward, repeat inwardly or outwardly. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. And feel the inner essence of that affirmation. What does it feel like to live in that place? I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. I am safe. I am sound. All good things come to me. All right, let's inhale to rise. Slowly rising up. Knees coming up towards the sky. We're going to sweep the feet out of the way. And we're going to come up onto hands and knees. Now, this is another pose that may not be available for everybody. So go ahead and tuck your toes underneath and walk your hands back. So for some of us, this is plenty, and it really strings a lot of energy, a lot of awakening in soles of the feet. If you can go a little bit further back and place your hands down, this is great. And if you can go up to lift your hips and flex your thighs, this is quite a journey for the front side of the quadriceps. So just breathe any version that you're in. If you need to rest and release out of the pose, come right into child's pose. You can also try the pose without the toes tucked underneath and just see if that might be a little bit easier. Sometimes it's nice to balance on the fists. So you find what works for you. Nice deep breath. And we're liberating tension from the thighs. The thighs hold emotions of worry, anxiety, and fear. So cleansing the thighs affects the emotional body as well. So make sure you get a little bit of a squeeze into the legs. Of course, when you're ready to come down, you lower down and then walk yourself back and forwards. So we're going to come onto the knees if you were in child's pose, and we're resting down onto the forearms. Take knees a little bit wider. This is called Anahata pose or heart opening pose. Take arms a little bit wider and keep releasing your head towards the ground. If you connect with the ground, wonderful. If you don't, that's quite all right. Just breathe with the head released down. Nice deep breath. This is a relaxation and feeling pose. So we're not activating muscles to support the body, perhaps, but we are feeling the torrential flood of energy rising up the spine back to the brain and welcoming that rising vitality back into the brain. And let's very gently lift up onto the hands. You can take knees back underneath the hips. And we'll just take an intermediary here. So inhaling, lower the belly, lift the crown for cow pose. And then exhaling, roll and tuck the belly up towards the spine, looking towards the lap for cat. Take a few rounds here, breathing, flexing the spine, lubricating the joints with long, deep breath. Remember, your body is soft. This is an enjoyable practice. You might smile at any time, enjoying the liberation of old, tired energy from the body. Coming back into neutral, we're going to thread the needle in our practice here. So go ahead and free the arm up to the sky. It doesn't matter which side you do. We'll do one side and then the other, and then release that hand behind the opposite, lowering onto your shoulder, down towards the head and the cheek. If you can extend the front arm up above the head, this is a bonus in the practice. Now, some of us even venture to extend our back leg. So same leg as the extended arm. This makes you very vulnerable to flip over. So just breathe and have a good humor about it if you roll over onto your side. If you want to lift the back leg, this is an advanced practice, so just be mindful of not overdoing it. Flex the toes of the lifting leg to keep it energized. And then all paths lead back down to the ground, retracting knee and hand back under its shoulder. When you're ready to rise, you slowly begin to inhale and just loosen the hips out to the side of the arm that's lifting. And then relax that hand back and down to the ground. Let's go right to the other side. So loosen the hips out to the side so you can really exaggerate the pose. And then nice and smooth, watch the transition as you descend down. Head and shoulder connecting. Front arm releasing forwards. Nice, smooth, consistent breath here. Extend your back leg, toes onto the earth. Only if you can. It's a lot of weight on the supportive hip, so just be mindful not to overdo it. If you can lift your back foot, wonderful. If you can't, wonderful. Listen to your body. Choose what's best just for you. Let's not strengthen the ego with our practice. Let's strengthen our sense of inner joy. Smiling and enjoying your posture, breathing, affirming inwardly, thank you for this beautiful liberation of energy in the body. I am fresh, I am renewed. When you're ready to descend down slowly, hand comes under shoulder, knee under hip. Inhaling, you lift and rise here, freeing that bottom arm, loosen the hips to the side and reach up and over. Good, and then exhale and come down to the earth. Let's just take a few moments of our cat-cow. So you inhale to lift, turning chin to the sky, crown of the head tall, and then exhale to round. You sort of want to flush out the spine here. Anything that's limiting the expression and the articulation of your spine. Let's breathe into that and invite space. Good. Things beginning to calm down here in the body. Restlessness of heart and mind slowing down. Let's take a moment in child's pose just to rest. Arms can extend long if you'd like. Not everyone's child's pose finds hips over the ankles, so if it doesn't, just rest under the forearms. Nice deep breathing here, repeating the affirmation with deep concentration at the point between your two eyebrows. Connecting yourself with that greater field of awareness, your unlimited potential. We'll repeat this affirmation together. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Again, holding concentration and feeling the reality of this affirmation blooming in your heart. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. One more time, holding the concentration, relaxed, joyful. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. Keeping awareness on the breath and what's happening right now in the body. The circulation of energy, of blood, and fresh oxygen. The awakening of your awareness. Feel how present you can be in this pose. When you're ready to rise, slowly lift. As you draw the hands towards the knees, lift right on the tips of the fingers into cat pose. So hands rather close to the knees in this version. Look to the belly. Good. Let's step knees a little further apart. Seal the palms down. We're going to dip the nose towards the earth and then inhale and peel up for cow pose. Good. And then exhale, just come into neutral position. Let's come into our sunbird pose, Surya Churya. Step the left foot back and send the right hand forwards. A nice strengthening pose in the body. Feeling our sense of willpower developing in this class. That is our capacity to direct energy where we want to. If you can lift your back foot, it's all the more welcomed in this pose. Breathing, but not pushing the body to fatigue. Nice steady breath. Dorsiflex the back foot. That is, toes come towards the face and you push through the heel of the foot. Spine is nice and strong. We'll descend down to free ourselves to the other side. As you're ready, inhaling to rise. Right foot can start on the ground, but if you feel the desire to lift it, breathe calm and steady. Look up to the bright side of the pose, lifting the inner gaze. Breathing nice and steady here. Notice the inner narrative. If it's I'm barely holding on to this pose, let's change that. Strength fills every cell of my body. I am calm. I abound with joy. I abound with energy. Change the narrative, and you will change your experience, slowly descending down. Good. We're going to go ahead and lift our hips for our first down dog. If you need to sort of just spiral out the wrists a couple times, if they feel any bit crampy, feel free. And then tuck toes and press your hips to the sky and take a little pedal. That means bending one knee and straightening opposite leg, and then right to the other side. Shake the head, yes, here. Squeezing into the back of the neck and then releasing over and over. Nice deep breath. Your gaze finds your lap when you're ready. Try to roll the elbow points towards your feet so that your elbows can bend here. In this way that you're bowing the head towards the earth. Repeat the affirmation. Of course, come down at any time if you need to. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. And let's say it from that calm place. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Take one more deep breath and we'll come right on the tips of the toes. Lift the heels, press out of the tops of the palms. Good, let's step toes together and exhale the heels towards the earth. Doesn't mean they'll get there. Let's draw the left foot all the way between the hands. Drop the back knee down. And inhale to rise here, coming into a modified crescent lunge. Arms all the way up above the space of the head. Some of us may have hip right over our knee. If you'd like to lunge forward, feel free and breathe. Feeling strength in every cell of the body. Breathing nice and deep here. Plug the arms down into the shoulders so that they remain energized. Tips of the fingers like little conductors into the heavens above the crown. All right, we'll soften left arm down and right arm down to this leg here. Just take a moment here in a more passive version of the pose to rest breathing. Nice deep breath. If anyone can slide their arms on either side of the leg, this is a nice little pretzel pose expression, but it's a great way to flush the shoulders. Don't feel that you have to. When you're ready to, settle hands down onto the ground. We'll come into half Hanuman pose, rolling onto the back knee. Start to straighten your front leg. Feel free to stand up tall in the pose. Good. If this pose is very intense for you, try to free one hand to the leg. If you don't have a hand to spare, then wiggle the toes. This might be a fake it till you make it smile. Just breathe and assume that joy now. And you're slowly descending down. Anyone that can lower the head as it will. Breathing, you're flushing out the backside of the knee. Tightness in backside of the knees is associated with subconscious insecurities. On a more practical level, it's also associated with a lifestyle of sitting all the time for driving, watching TV. When you're ready to exit the pose, just very gently roll yourself forwards, and then you can step your hands onto the inside of the foot, and this affords you to free that foot back and around and settle down onto the earth. Big toes together. Let's inhale and slide forward into our cow pose. And then graceful transition right to downward facing dog. Hips up to the sky. Heels are heavy. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. One more time, deep focus. Even as you're looking towards your lap, look up. to the point between the two eyebrows without moving head, just the gaze of the eyes. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Take your step when you're ready. Right foot all the way to the front of the mat, dropping the back knee down, pushing into soles of the feet. Get nice and steady here and rise. Hips can be right over the knee, or you can lunge forward. Just be gentle. We don't want to pull any muscles beyond where they're ready to go. Inhaling, arms come up to the sky, and then you sink the arms down into the shoulders, but with great intention and focus. Good. Every part of the body is awakened in this pose. If you want to lunge forward, feel free. It's okay if the knee travels beyond the ankle. Just breathe. Nice deep breath. Some of us like to join hands in prayer and slightly bend the elbows. Mountain pose, arms. Inner gaze to the point between the two eyebrows. And when you're ready to descend, you slowly drop forearms onto the thigh. And just take a moment here to sort of rest into this leg, breathing nice deep breath. If you can slide arms on either side, feel free to do so. Definitely not available in all bodies, but it can be very interesting if the body allows that inquiry. And then make sure you can get out of the pose, and we'll slide down to the ground. It's okay if you're not in time with me. We're coming into half Hanuman, extending the front leg. And so you're really finding that this front leg is plugging into its hip. And wiggle the toes. Again, if you can free one arm, you can rub the backside of the knee. Tell it it's all okay. With just a little bit of breath, we'll all get through this together. Nice deep breath. As much as you can, bow the head down and relax. Feel free to jump into that version of the pose. You can always wiggle nose, stretch the muscles of the face by wrinkling forehead, rolling the lips, opening the jaw, shoulders relaxed. Hanuman is the great servant. Feeling that you are bowing your head, symbolic of your ego, to the heart, which is the all-wise, the all-loving presence within us. I bow that place within me of the ego that tends towards selfishness, to the all-loving, all-wise kingdom of the heart. Breathing, staying in your practice. When you're ready to exit the pose, do so in a nice, slow, controlled manner. You walk yourself to the front and then step your hands around to the inside of that foot and go ahead and free it back behind the body. You might take a little point if you need to, and then free, knees down. So two versions of child's pose. Knees can be close together and you can lower down, or you can step knees nice and wide, only if your hips will allow, and then slowly descend down. Good. Relaxing the forehead down towards the earth. Nice deep breathing. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. This is a unique opportunity in our practice to close the eyes, shut down from the external world of the senses, and to feel the body recalibrating. Feel the patterns of energy in your body, harmonizing, blood flow extending into every cell of the body, every muscle, every tissue and bone. And the joy of your heart, like a glowing light, expanding, pulsing, greater and greater pulses with each breath of gratitude. Even in this pose, looking inward and upward to the point between the two eyebrows. I am calm. I am peaceful. I am calm. I am peaceful. We're rewriting the story one affirmation at a time together. I am calm. I am peaceful. When you're ready to rise, take your time, slowly rolling your way back up, head to the last part of the body to rise. An optional counter pose to send hands behind you and lifting the hips as you lift, stretching front side of the thighs. You may like to explore this expression. There's a point where you can really press the hips up if the body will allow, not everybody's will. Breathe and be satisfied with what is given to you this evening. When you're done with the pose, just very gently soften, come back through. We'll set hands off to the side and swing those feet out of the way. Knees bent. Let's flush the spine one more time together, rolling side to side. Now's your opportunity to really satisfy any last little needs or movements in the body so that we can enter into stillness. So if it's a way that you're moving your head and your neck, if it's a way that you're maybe indulging by hanging on one side or the other, twisting, take as many rounds as you need. As you feel ready to lower down, you just roll your way down to the ground again. We'll take knees in towards the chest, spreading feet wide. We'll come into happy baby pose. If you can hold on to the feet, wonderful. If hands only make it to the thighs, hold thighs or backs to the knees. You might hold on to calves or ankles, and you just rest your rocking side to side. Just take a few moments here to whisper words of love to every part of your body, loving our stomach, our liver, spleen and pancreas, our kidneys, the intestines, all these beautiful organs that are keeping this body functioning properly. I love my muscles and my bones, my hair, my feet. I love every aspect of who I am. Let that torrential flow of love break into your heart, crashing through any dams of inner hurt that we may have built throughout our lives. Anytime that you're ready to lower down, you can. If you'd like a final inversion, now's a great time to do so. I'll walk us through the one that we started with gentle fists underneath our hips, or at least the muscle, the glutes. You can send your feet sort of halfway to the sky. Also, if you have a blanket handy, you can sit on the edge of a blanket here or tuck it underneath this space. If you want to try a supported shoulder stand, plug elbows into the ground, fingers to the sky. You inhale and press into the elbows and lift your hips up into your hands. So feet can start to come towards the hips in whatever capacity is available. Breathing nice deep breath. Take any final poses that you'd like. Enter a pose and stay there for a little while. Eyes are closed by this time in the practice. And you're breathing and feeling and rejoicing as the body is receiving this beautiful flow of loving energy now that our hearts are open. And all of the tension has melted out of the body by this point. Is there any final little movements that you need to maybe wiggle the toes or make some expression with your face? It can also be really nice to take the hands up to the head as you get out of any pose that might require them and just sort of rub the scalp a little bit here. Give some love to the brain, sending vitality and energy. Come down to the ears, maybe by now extending your legs into Shavasana. Rubbing the ears is a cathartic practice. It helps to really stimulate good circulation of energy throughout the body. And you might even tug on the lobes a little bit and just take a really deep breath and sit tall up into the very crown of your head, and then exhale and soften the hands away and down by the sides of the body. A good time for your blanket if you have one. Close the eyes and turn the inner gaze upward. And let's equalize the patterns and the flow of energy in the body by taking a double inhalation. Squeeze the muscles, holding the breath in. Squeeze the whole body, every last muscle that you can employ, and then send it out of the mouth and release. Again. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Lots of energy. And then release. Okay, last time is very light tension. Squeezing just a little bit. And then let the body go here. If for any reason there's tension in your low spine, bend your knees. Set your feet on the ground. You might even wave the knees if you need to. And let's just place our awareness at the point between your two eyebrows. Like a king or a queen reclaiming their throne, sit firmly here with commanding presence. And just release the body, the breath, the thoughts. You might mentally repeat Om, Om, Om if you need any mantra. Om, Om, Om. perfectly still. Allow the words, and more importantly, the feeling behind these words to awaken in your body and your heart. O Spirit, teach us to heal our bodies by recharging them with thy cosmic energy, to heal our minds by concentration and pleasant smiles, and our souls by meditation-born intuition. O Spirit, teach us to heal our bodies by recharging them with thy cosmic energy, to heal our minds by concentration and pleasant smiles, and our souls by meditation-born intuition. So allow a moment here to feel the body recharged by your practice. Every little cell like their own individual battery, refilled to their capacity. Drawing awareness into the spine, feel great vitality, like a superhighway, energy rising, traveling up and down the length of the spine, traveling through all the various side roads, every part of the beautiful kingdom that is your body. From this state, let us awaken into gentle movements of the fingers and the toes. If the eyes can stay closed, let them stay closed. You can keep growing the movements, extending arms up overhead in some comfortable fashion along the ground, if you'd like. You're really waking back into your greatness here, the great soul that you are. You can gently draw the knees in towards the chest and find a little rocking side to side, maybe with the support of the hands. Feeling that sense of vitality filling back into your body. Like an empty cup submerged underneath the water. As soon as you open yourself up to this great flow of energy, it comes rushing in to fill the empty spaces of tired body parts, a fatigued mind or soul. As you're ready, you can roll off to your side and gently make your way back to a seated posture. And just close the eyes. We have this wonderful opportunity to sit still at the end of our practice so that we can really feel the benefits of these postures. As you do get seated, see to it that the spine stands tall, it's energized, rising up to meet life. Shoulders are relaxing back behind the body. And the crown of the head, you might even take one of your hands and pretend like you're plucking the very top of your head a little bit taller, and then just release it. Nice energetic spine, palms facing up on the lap if they can. Of course, the sweet cherry on top of this beautiful moment is to shift the awareness to the point between the two eyebrows, looking up. Feeling pure consciousness flowing through you. The inner water is cleared. no longer murky with desires, inner restlessness. Let's join our hands together in prayer. Anjali Mudra. Lifting your heart to meet your thumbs, centered on the sternum, the breastbone. Keeping the gaze inwardly and upwardly fixed. Let's take a moment here at the end of our practice to send loving vibrations, loving intentions, and prayers out to all those beings in this world that could really use our support at this time. To all those beings who maybe have never felt peace in their lives. Let's pray that they feel this great sense of peace in their hearts. To those struggling with physical illness, may they feel the underlying joy in their hearts despite their outer circumstances. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let's rub our palms together and we'll send some ohms out into this world. This beautiful harmonizing vibration. You can extend your palms out, noticing if you feel tingle or awakening in the arms or palms. We'll take a deep breath and join together as you're ready. Om. Hands can join back together. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. We recognize that underneath our restlessness of the mind and the heart is this same peaceful state for all of us. We recognize this as the essence of who we are, not the distortions of the mind or the emotions, but only this inner calm and peace. We honor this place in each other by saying namaste, namaste. Thank you all very much for joining our class today.